She sings a song quiet in the morning. She gives a soul to the wind, and along her shores wanders abound her, along where her footsteps begin. High above her hills you can feel her longing, hidden in the grove of the wind. With a rock and stone from Porcupine Mountain, that's where her story begins.
From Away by Rita Sylvia Warner, dedicated to Sadie and Henry at Storytellers Gallery. Through the blowing snow, the jolly fellow at the toll booth yelled, "An early snowstorm. Better get off the road before dark. No plows out tonight." "Welcome to Cape Breton," the frozen sign read. She was afraid. She was used to city life. What a shock. As they crossed the Cancel Causeway, their old green van shuddered. They considered heeding the tollman's warning. But as they drove on, the clay, the spruce, and the cold salt water welcomed them. A few lights shone from the windows of houses, so sparsely dotting the landscape of stunted trees. She was a tiny Polish-Jewish immigrant woman. He was a rich boy from Chicago. Her captivating smile and heart of gold arrived in that snowstorm with her partner Thomas on October 1st, 1970. They took up residence at Angus the Piper's old abandoned house. It was right next door to our farmhouse on the River Denny's Mountain Road. She was 23 years old and Thomas was 26, both just out of university. There were a few others like them who moved into old houses on Cape Breton Island. They were back to the Landers, or what we called the Rubber Boot Gang. The winter wind tore at her coat as she climbed the hill to our house for her first visit. It was election night when I met them. I was 19 years old and excited to be voting for the first time. I was eager to vote for Pierre Elliott Trudeau that year, even though my father was a Tory and said he wouldn't drive me to the poll. Her name was Rita, just like mine. She asked me if I had always lived here. I found it so strange. Everyone I knew had always lived here. My dreams were to get away. I'd hear the whistle of the Judic Flyer blow every morning at 10 a.m., and I wanted to get on that train and go as far away as I could. "Yes," I told her. "How lucky you are," she cried. Gee, I was lucky. She became my earth angel. She showed me how to catch the sun. Oh, such fun, learning how to build a pit greenhouse, how to weave cloth, how to make apple butter from their old orchard. She baked Polish and Jewish food. I had never heard of a bagel before, or borscht, cabbage rolls, or endives. Rita, my new neighbor, was my internet search engine before the age of computers. I was so lucky the people from away moved next door to share their richness of ideas. We often visited in each other's homes. They sat at the kitchen table for tea and cherry cheesecake. Rita loved it so much that was all she wanted to eat. We laughed, we cried, and we also grew up together as we raised our own children. They stayed for 25 years and eventually got jobs with the bookmobile and Judith School Library. But our conversation often steered to her still wondering if she would ever belong. How many years will the label, "The People from Away," follow us, she wondered. What about my son? He was born here. Will he be Nicholas West from Away? How many years? Rita and I spent many an evening by the wood stove, trying to think of ways this feeling could change, or wonder why it was so ingrained in Cape Breton. It's hard to understand the old ways of thinking. Families, intermarriages, being on the pogey, isolation, exclusion, religion, and other aspects of culture are so closely guarded. Cape Breton Island was unconnected to the world for so many years until the causeway was built. Watching you like a sheep is an old saying here. Wild hills, gloomy forests, cold winters, and isolation create a protective stance that goes way back for centuries, and newcomers are unknown to the flock. I was Rita 1, and she was called Rita 2. We did everything together. My marriage would not have lasted years if I didn't have her, because she was my soulmate. We were sisters by choice. She was from Away, but she was the closest friend I ever had. Rita left here and moved to Ottawa in 1995. We were both in our 40s. She died 3 years ago. She opened my eyes to the world, and I want Cape Bretoners to know the joy it brought me. We have all been lonely in a crowd. Today, let's open our doors, put the porch light on, and welcome the people from Away. Extend 100,000 welcomes.
So if you've been away and can't find your tomorrow, if your heart is lonely and you long for a friend, trust in the wind for to guide you to the causeway. Set your sails and head back home again.